Welcome back for episode 7. We love y'all. This week, the patron of the week is someone very special to me. It's my poppy, my daddy. Thank you, Dante, for being the patron of the week. Thank you for supporting us. We love you. This guy's amazing. He's a ball of fun. He's younger than me. He thinks he is. And we just want to give you big love and big shout out for being the patron of the week.
My God, appreciate you.
We have an interesting question this week. And the question is from Sierra. And the question is, if a person is taking care of a child that's not theirs, should they be allowed to discipline them? Had to keep chasing our dreams.
So I grew up in a household where, my stepfather was like my father because my father wasn't there.
Yeah.
And he was a disciplinarian.
Mm-hmm.
He disciplined us. He disciplined us tough. So that's why I think I'm the man that I am today because of that discipline. But now in hindsight, I see that. But while the discipline was going on, I hated his ass sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I didn't like him.
Yeah.
Admitting to myself as the man I am today, but back then as a child, I didn't understand that I needed that.
Why is he putting his hands
right.
on me? Yeah.
So I've been through that and I understand that, and I think I lean on my experience with that when it's time for me to discipline a child, as being a step parent now. You know what I mean? But not physically, because I don't agree with the physical thing. Yeah. Because I think I'm able enough to get through to a child mentally to let them understand, look, you did something wrong. Mm-hmm. Here's the fix to that.
Yeah.
Maybe look at it this way and do things this way to get this outcome next time so you won't be in this predicament.
I will say, speaking of your mom and your situation when you were a child, back in the day...
He did everything for us, though. I'm talking about new games, everything. Made us feel like childhood
let me
was
tell
this
you,
shit.
I already know he did everything for you because back in the day... Mothers did allow stepfathers to have discipline. Full control like a father would.
Yeah.
Because he's in the house, he's providing for the house, like you just said. He did everything for y'all. So he whipped your ass, but he also did everything that y'all needed. Shoes, clothes, everything.
Do you think the discipline...
And that's what Sierra's question was. If you are providing for a child that's not even yours, first of all, let's give a stand up to the step parents that's even willing to take on somebody else's load.
Yeah.
To even have a conversation to say, I want to discipline him. To even care enough to even want to tell a child that's not theirs the right way to live or not.
Yeah.
Let's just give it up to the step parents because that's hard. That's not your seed. Let's take a moment and give that to them.
Yeah.
Because I've lived with my dad and I've had a stepmom and I wasn't her child, and she did so many things for me. She took me to the hair store. She bought me things. She knew my favorite food. She always got them for the market for me, and I didn't always give her the easiest way to go.
Yeah, of course. So do you think it's fair to say that if you're providing for this child, if you're there for that child, if you've been in that household for a duration of time, do you think it's fair to say you automatically are given that right to discipline a child as being a step parent?
Absolutely.
No matter what.
Now, your methods of discipline is where it gets tricky, because if you were raised in a way that your father used to take you by the back of your neck and squeeze and pinch and throw you against a brick wall, maybe in your mind that's is your methods of discipline.
Yeah.
I don't discipline my children that way.
See, that's where that gets tricky at.
And that's where it gets tricky at. Me and you as the adults, as the parents, as the partnership, we need to discuss what your discipline look like.
Yeah.
These are conversations people don't even have.
Yeah. Suppose we have that conversation and we come to the realization or the understanding that my discipline is totally different than your discipline. So where do I fit in now with my form of discipline? Because I feel like I should be able to discipline because I'm there for that child. I do everything. Everything on my behalf as a father figure is taken care of. Now I need to enforce some type of discipline. where do I fit in with my discipline now? Because earlier you said absolutely it's okay for the person to discipline if, they're in that role as being that father figure.
I'm not going to be with someone that is brutally violent. So it comes with knowing the character of who you're dating. I personally would trust you to discipline because I know your character.
Yeah.
So even if, for whatever reason, I've never seen you be violent with, your own kids, So even if, for whatever reason, things got to that level, like let's say, for example, my 17-year-old, my son's almost 17, my almost 17-year-old black son did something that could involve him with the police. Let's say, for an example. And you jack him up and you slap him upside the head. You know better. We're black. Stuff happen to us different. Yeah. We're the ones that get killed. Right? Yeah. That's all love. That's all love. So that's why I said the situation depends on, but you got to know the character. So if he come in the house, I know your character. I know you're not a violent person. I know what's going on. And he come in the house and he all like swole up. And he like, yeah, Charlie popped me up. Blah, blah, blah. What happened? Yeah, I'm about to get locked up. Blah, blah, blah. Charlie pop you up. He's about to get locked up. I'm going to wait till Jolly come in. Me and him will talk about what happened.
Yeah.
And you could tell me, yo, I got so mad because I seen him almost going down a path that we don't got him going down. And, I jacked him up, popped him up. He got popped up. I mean, what do you want me to do? What you want me to jump in and be like, don't pop him up? No,
let's take that scenario into consideration. And now let's decipher this thing. Let's say, now you gave it from your perspective. I know that you would be accepting to that because you know the person that I am, right? Now, what about those parents that don't believe wholeheartedly in physical touch?
Yeah.
What do you say about that instance if I put my hands on your child and I know I got the best intentions in the world to not hurt this child?
Yeah.
It's just the fact that it calls for this, wholeheartedly in my heart, I believe, it calls for this. To break through to this child, to get him to know that I'm saving your life here in this situation.
Yeah.
I got you. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to take things too far, but you got to know that I am serious at this moment, right? You got to feel this. And the only way that I know I'm going to get through to you is physical touch. But you as a parent don't believe in physical touch at all. How do a step parent carry it in that instance or that situation?
Life isn't perfect, and unfortunately sometimes there has to be disagreement and arguments, but if that step parent know that they were coming from the most beneficial place for that child in that moment and they handled it that way, and that other parent is upset and mad, now this is the time as a couple for y'all to grow. You know, there is no such thing as step parent don't discipline at all because you're doing something to save that child's life. Yeah. So if she's pissed off that you took it an extra step that you know she don't believe in, now that's an argument. Now that's something as a couple y'all need to discuss. Y'all need to talk about a better way of doing it next time, whatever. Yeah. But in that moment, in that heat of the moment, and you came from love, and that was your method of providing that love. All discipline, unless it's in a toxic environment. And I want to say this, none of this advice that we're giving is for someone that is in a harmful situation.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
There are very evil stepfathers that touch their children, touch their stepchildren inappropriately, do things. And there are very evil stepmothers that go out of their way to make their stepchildren lives a living hell, knowing they got the man wrapped around their fingers.
Yeah.
So everything we're saying in this podcast is for logical step parents. Step parents that's coming with no ill will. I just wanted to say that.
It's levels to this
shit.
It's
levels to this shit. Now we're going in stepfather level.
Stepfather 102. We just addressed Stepfather 101.
Now, Stepfather 102 is the kind of stepfather that is not 100% a stepfather to that child because that child has an active father involved.
Yeah.
Stepfather 102. So his whole situation is different because he's always going to feel like how far can he go.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, this stepfather, that child's biological father is coming to pick him up every weekend. You're not going to even feel inclined to discipline him in certain ways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If anything, you and his father if y'all mature, might even be cool. Y'all might even discuss stuff. When he come on Friday, you might be like, yo, he was showing off in school earlier this week. Now it's a respect level because men recognize the strength in another man, and the man that stand up and he's still involved with that child, even though he's not dealing with the mother in no type of way, that's going to be respect if any type of maturity is involved. And so that kind of stepfather, he do little things around the house, but he's not overly invested in the child. He is in the sense of he want the best for the child too, but that child have a whole father. But that stepfather that's not doing everything for that child, he's not going to get as angry as stepfather 101. Yeah. Stepfather 101 is putting blood, sweat, and tears and raising this little boy to be a man. He's doing the extra. He's doing the most. He worked doubles. He's trying to send him to college. He's trying to help him get scholarships. He never missed one game. Stepfather 102 will miss a game. His father's at the game. Yeah. He don't go to every game. Yeah. He's not that overly invested. So that's why I say there's levels to this shit. Yeah. Because depending on what type of step parent you are, you don't have that feeling of overly giving so much of yourself to this abandoned child. Yeah. Like someone who doesn't have a father at all. Yeah. When there's love involved and you madly in love with the person, you want to be with them, you got to take the baggage that comes with them. And sometimes the baggage is so heavy. It's so dirty. It's like, oh, I got to deal with this. Yeah. But is that worth while you in it? If that's worth while you in it, you got to deal with it.
So I'll tell a lot of people that's in this situation that's been a step parent that, you know, maybe you don't like that child or maybe that child don't like you. And, you know, you're in that moment right now. Just know that if your ill will towards that child is in the best regards of that child, it will prevail. Because I've been in a situation where, like I said, I genuinely had a strong dislike for my stepchild, right? And in that moment, I couldn't see me ever having a strong bond or a strong relationship with this child. Mm-hmm. But this child grew up to be so strong from a moral basis, so independent, so responsible, so respectable, so fucking intelligent, that me and this child bond to this day is unbreakable. Yeah. And I love him to death. Yeah. Right? I love this child to death. He's my son. He's my child. You know, like I had him. Yeah. And I could never see that back then. But I stuck it out and I went through it with him. We had some ups and some downs. But now, to this day, and this is what I tell people, stick it out. And wait till that child gets through that maturity stage. And maturity means a lot in these situations because most of the time when we're dealing with these kids, they're immature. You know, they don't know what life really entails or what life has in store for them. So they don't know what these life situations is really about. But we do. And sometimes we try to force it on them too early or before they're ready to understand it. And they just don't get it yet because they can't see life actually playing out like that. But we can because we've been through it and we're trying to tell them, listen, bro, I'm trying to save you years. I'm trying to spare you years that I already went through myself so you don't have to go through it. But we all know being a kid, we don't understand it. Yeah. And that's why I say stick these things out until that child becomes mature enough to understand that what you are doing for him is in his best interest wholeheartedly. And that only happens if you're coming out of a place of pure sincerity towards that child.
Love that child. Even when they're being snotty, even this, because like you said, they're going to get through that stage. They're going to mature. And so if you're really in it for that other parent, if you're really there for them and you want to spend your life with them, you do have to make it through these trying times. Yeah, and these times don't give up. Don't give up, because it'll be a day that child will be walking across the stage, graduating, and they'll see that step parent in the crowd and they'll give them that wink, you know? Mm-hmm. And it'll be it'll be that love. Because if you're giving that child love day after day, year after year, their bitterness will have to subside. Like, they will love you. You know, there's no way they're going to hate someone that gives so much love for so long.
And I know a lot of people are asking, what was that clicking moment when the light bulb went off and you guys' relationship shifted? The step parent and the stepchild. What was that moment like, and how did you know it was that moment? And for me, that moment happened, that actual bonding moment happened when me and his mom separated. Now he get to see from his perspective that, oh, he wasn't doing that just because or out of spite. Mm-hmm. He really cared for me.
Yeah.
He really want me the best for me. He really want me to succeed because he's doing this and he's not even with my mom anymore.
Yeah.
And he's still checking up on me. He's still asking about me. He's still making sure my welfare and my well-being is in good position. I gotta respect that. And then in hindsight, those kids do understand that, you know, you want the best for them. Mm-hmm. But they might not understand it in that situation because, like I said, they're too immature to see that. But it'll come a moment when, you know, they reach the maturity level that they can see that you actually want the best for them. And once they reach that moment, you guys will connect because now they understand the place that you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, my switch moment with my stepmom was after I left the house.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, Watts, for all that I've done to you. You know I'm a sweetheart. But, you know, mine was after I left the house. And I had moved in with my sister. And I was no longer with my dad or my stepmom. And I'm like, I'm thinking, she used to take me to Bath and Body Works. Ooh. And get me all my little lotion and, you know, sprays and, you know, and now I'm like, you know, it's market time at my sister's house and I don't have all my favorite foods because my father didn't do those things. She did.
That's a big one.
She did. And so now I'm living with my sister and I'm like, damn, where's my little, where's this, where's that? I'm looking for the market bags and I'm like, damn, I don't have no favorite food in here.
And you didn't appreciate it while it was happening because it was the regular normal thing.
She picked me up, you know, and now I'm on the MTA, now I'm on the bus. And I'm like, dang, my stepmom used to pick me up. So for me, the respect for my stepmom came in place once I got away. And I think it's not her fault, you know, it's not her fault at all. I was looking for qualities that was in my mom, and she had never had any stepchildren.
Yeah, I think that's unfair.
That was her first, it was very unfair to her. Yeah. It was her first time being around somebody else's child, period. She was young. She didn't even have any kids of her own. And now she's dating this guy with a teenager. And I wanted her, because me and my mom always had this, you know, we could talk about anything. We're down to earth. You know, I could tell her like, hey, Mom, I'm liking this boy and stuff like that. And I kind of was looking for some of that in her. And that would get back to my father. Yeah. And I'm like, damn, I just told you he was cute. And my father like, I'm cutting your phone off on the weekend. Damn. You know, the little house phone. You know, he unplugged the cord. We ain't had no cell phones back there. You know, you unplug the cord. You don't get no phone in your room for the weekend. And I'm like, damn, I shouldn't even told her nothing. You know, she felt like it was her job as a stepmom to tell my dad.
And I like that you brought that point up because you said she didn't have any kids.
No,
right?
She
so
did not.
So do you think that's a major factor in being able to step parent? Whether or not that person had kids or not?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because their experience with kids and attitudes and mood swings and cleaning up behind somebody, they don't have it. Yeah. They don't have it. So you're throwing them in the jungle of a whole new environment. Yeah. At least the step parent who have their own kids with someone else, at least they kind of know kids are annoying and they're this and they're that. They know how to deal with certain things, ignore certain things. You know, but when you're not used to, you're taking everything to heart. And I think that's the reason why a lot of things were told back to my dad, because she didn't know what to do with it. Yeah. What am I supposed to do with this? Am I betraying him? You know, am I betraying him? She told me she like a boy. You know, is she old enough to like a boy? Yeah. I do think it's hard for a step parent that don't have any children at all. I do think they're taking on a lot to date someone that doesn't have any children at all. And I think it also becomes a problem of, I'm dating you and I'm taking responsibility for someone else's child, and I don't even have kids.
That's a big thing too, though. Just knowing what you want out of a step parent, Yeah,
you gotta know what you want. And the step parent going into these situations, they gotta know what they want as well.
Yeah.
Because if they don't want kids, some step parents will come into a situation very eager to be in this child life because maybe that woman can't have a child. And so she's eager to be to be a mother influence. And then you have those step fathers who come in eager because they don't want no kids. If this don't work out, no child support, no go. Let's do this. I got you. I'll help you with your little kids.
Yeah.
So everybody have a different way of what level they are on the step parent level. Yeah. So that was step parent 103. 103. The step parent who don't have a child.
Yeah.
There's levels to this shit.
Yeah, there's levels to it. Step parent 103.
Step parent 103. And you know that sound. Quote time. Quote time. It takes a strong man to accept somebody else's children and step up to the plate another man left on the table. Damn, that's hard. It takes a strong man to take care of someone else's children, to step up to the plate that another man left on the table. And I think that's true on any level, no matter what kind of step parent you are. The fact that you're deciding to invest in someone else's child, be a part of someone else's child life, give them some guidance, give them some discipline, feeding them, even paying half of the rent is taking care of that child. So the fact that you're making a decision to ride it out with that mom or that dad that you're in love with and incorporate that child into your experience, I think that's some stand-up shit. That's one child that have a father figure that would not have a father figure. So
yeah, and I think that's important. I think it's so important that that child have both parents. And I look at step parents as being a parent. That's why it's called step parent. And I don't take any credit away from a step parent, or I don't give any credit to a step parent that I wouldn't give to an actual parent if they are a true step parent in every essence, in every facet of that word. You got to give them the same respect as being a parent. And I think that, make sure that they feel that. Make sure they are respected as that, and give them that. That's their God-given right.
If you watched the episode this long, please comment, share, subscribe. And remember, you can pretend to be anybody, or you can really just be you. So be you, and we are now us. If you have fun hanging out with us, remember you can become part of the Patreon team. We have 3 tiers, as little as $3 a month. $3. You can become part of the team at www.patreon.com/nowuspodcast. You can leave us a comment down below if you've ever experienced being a step parent, if you are a step parent, if you used to hate your step parent. Let us know everything. Let us know.